when I to explain this, today is what, 5th 11 2022. To explain in a small way, is it? So I will just come. Whenever there is a see, you have a difference between expenses and expenditure. Is it? You have the difference between an expenses are in terms of what? In terms of operating expenses. Is it right? When you are talking in terms of operating expenses, you would have to show it in where? We have to show it in the profit and loss account. Whereas when you are talking about the expenditure, we are taking into consideration the capital expenditure. Is it right? Capital expenditure. This capital expenditure is the thing is here. This is going to be any expenses which are going to be less than 12 months are going to be treated in the profit and loss account. If it is going to be more than 12 months, it has to be shown in the statement of financial position. Is it right? Statement of financial position as such. Fine. Now it is important that we should make it a point. We should never mix the capital expenditure into revenue or revenue into capital. Okay, lot of difference. It will have impact on the profits. Is it right? It will have impact on the profits. Assume, take an example. I will give you both the options. Is it right? I will give the example with respect to wrong way. I will give the example with respect to the correct way also. Is it right? This is what we are going to cover this. Next, what happens? Assume you have spent how much? You have spent. Is that there is a capital expenditure? Is it right? There is a capital expenditure of how much? Capital expenditure of 10,000 riyals. Wrong way. What we'll do? We are having the gross profit. From the gross profit, we make it an expenses. Assume gross profit is how much? Gross profit is 20,000. We are going to reduce how much? 10,000, and automatically profit will decrease by how much? Profit will decrease by 10,000. Fine. Now, what is the correct way? Gross profit is going to be 20,000. Fine. You have to show it as an asset. How much? 10,000. Is it right? From this asset, assume it is depreciation. Assume depreciation is how much? 2,000. Fine. How much you are going to show it as an asset? 8,000. Here from the gross profit, we are taking the expenses as such. In the expenses, we are reduced only how much? 2,000. Then the profit will be how much? Profit will be 18,000. Here what's happening if you do it in a wrong way? Not only your profits will decrease, is it right? Not only your profits will decrease, but also your assets will be less than how much? Less. You are not showing any asset, is it right? You are not showing it as an asset. The assets will also be subject to less than 10,000. Right? This is what, where as an auditor, whenever there is a capital expenditure expenses or capital expenditure and revenue expense, it is the we have to ensure that the capital expenditure is treated as a capital expenditure and revenue expenses should be treated as revenue expenses. If they are giving you a question, they will give this point only. Okay, this point only, as simple as. It is important that the entity has controls to ensure that capital and revenue expenses are accounted correctly, as errors will result in the misstatement of not only in terms of profits but also in terms of assets. Now I have explained you the complete scenarios. Management may have an incentive to misclassify expenditure. In order to, what will happen if your profits are decreasing? Is it right? If your profits are decreasing, what will happen? Definitely the taxes will also decreases. Is that in order to manipulate profit or for tax purposes? Is that they have the option as a cost which are susceptible to incorrect accounting treatment, or what are the things we have to make sure that whether repairs are shown in the expenses and research and development. See, this is the most crucial segment as such. Is it right? We are talking in terms of research and development. Any idea about this? Where we have to show research and where we have to show development? Yes or no? If it is research, where we have to show, development, where we have to show. Any idea? Yes or no? Tell me. I am waiting. If you don't have any idea, just tell me. I will continue. Yes, Aisha, Maita, Faiza and Fatma. Any idea, yes or no? Good, no bro, no, you let me know that, then it's happened. See that whenever we have the research and development are two different things. They are not same. Okay, they are never be same. Okay, research cost will always be expensed. Always. Research means still in process. Getting my point? Research means nothing but still in process. Is it? Research is nothing but it is still in process as such. Is it? It is still in process. Is it? It is still in process. Whereas development means it is in production. Is right? It is in production. I don't know why it is going. Okay, it is in production. Now what happens whenever we are taking into consideration, is right? Whenever we take into consideration, the research cost should be expensed, still in process. We don't know whether the research is, see what happens, you are doing the research. Once the research is successful, then you are going to transform to the next stage of what? Development. Fine. So research, sometimes what happens, research will be unsuccessful. Okay, sometimes what will happen, research will be unsuccessful. If that is the case, definitely what will happen, it has to be treated as a loss. Is that? That's why any research expenses should be treated as any research cost should be treated as an expense. Any development, is it right? Any development should be treated as an asset, and it has to be capitalized. Means any development cost is going to be shown in the statement of financial position. This is the ground rule. It will never change. Is it right? It will never change. And in the question, they will ask you specifically about this. Whether they have, the job of the auditor is to ensure that the research cost should be expensed and the development cost should be capitalized. Is it? Now, what happens apart from that? We are talking in terms of repairs and maintenance, research and development, anything with respect to the websites or the software cost. Again, the same thing happened. Website is going to be capitalized. Is it right? Website is going to be capitalized. Software should be expensed. Yes, this is as per research and development cost. It is as per 23 is the borrowing cost, 2020. I will let you know. Okay, I will let you know. Fine, just give me time. Give me time. I will let you know which account. IS 38 is intangible assets. Is it right? IS 38 is intangible assets. See, intangible assets, there are conditions are there. Intangible assets internally generated. The rule says that if it is internally generated, we cannot identify it as an intangible asset. Intangible asset is only happens when you are purchasing it from the by paying the cost. Is it right? Just give me for I will get back to you. I get back to you. Okay, it is there in my mind. Is that I will get back to you. No problem. Fine. Now this is what it says. This is research and development. Now what happens? See the thing. In 2001 example. Is that's all. That is the only thing which you have to be. We have to be careful. In 2001, WorldCom recognizes over 3 billion of operating cost as capital expenditure. Understand what they have treated the operating cost as capital expenditure. Just imagine what will happen. What is the impact if you are taking the operating cost? Is it right? If you are treating the operating cost as a capital expenditure, is it as a capital expenditure, what will happen? What are the implications? Is that what are the implications? What will happen? Automatically, what the profits will increase by how much? 3 billion. Is that the profits? We are not showing it as a cost. We are showing it as a. And what will happen? The assets should also will increase by how much? 3 billion. Or these costs related to line cost, fees that the company has to pay to other telecom companies for right to access the network. Is it right? That's what it happened. You are accessing the network of another companies. Is it right? You are accessing the network of other companies. By accessing the network of other companies, we generate income. Is it right? Means it is on the year-to-year basis. Is it right? If the company has recognized this as a revenue expenditure that year, it would have made the loss. In order to, if we have shown it as by doing this, what have the implication happened? The implication has happened as the profits has been shoot up by 3 million. If they have shown it in the right way, is it right? If they have shown it in the right way, what would happen? The profits would have been decreased by how much? 3 billion. But by capitalizing it, it managed to smooth its earnings. The fraud was uncovered by WorldCom internal auditors and its new external auditors, the KPI. Is it right? See, if it is not a mistake, is it right? It is not an error. If it's happening in that way, it is going to be identified as a what? It is going to be identified as a fraud. Yeah, this much sensitive is there whenever we are talking in terms of capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. What are the assertions? Assertions is we should be, whenever there is a expenditure of this magnitude, of this amount, is it? Whenever there is a expenditure of this amount, is it? We have to be very clear that there should be a proper authorization. In none of the previous cases we have done authorization, is right? None of the previous cases assertion. This is the first time we are going to talk about assertion in terms of what? In terms of authorization. What it says, to ensure that cap expenditure is properly authorized, whether it is a capital expenditure or it is a revenue. Orders for capital expenditure items should be authorized by appropriate level of management. Definitely, when you are talking in terms of a capital expenditure, is a capital cost, it will not be a small amount, is it? It will be a huge amount. When it is going to be a huge amount, definitely what will happen? The level of amount increases. We assume that it is going to be 100,000, it will be at the lower level. Is it right? It will be at, the amount is increasing to 1 million. Is it right? The amount is definitely it will be going to at a middle level. Is it right? Authority. If the amount is increasing to 1 billion, is it right? Definitely it will be by whom? Most of the time it will be by board of directors. Orders should be requisitions on appropriate, different to revenue documentation. Definitely, it is, if it is a capital nature, definitely you have to treat it. The documentation process should be, the request should be different. Is it right? Means the capital cost, is right? Capital cost request should be request and procedure should be followed. Yeah, that's as simple as, see, as you can judge immediately why it has been identified as a capital expenditure, why it has been identified as a revenue. You should have that accounting perspective also. Invoices should be approved by the person who authorized the order. Means the person who is authorizing, is right? The person who is authorizing he should only approve. Here we are not talking about segregation of duties. Understand? But see the thing. This is the difference. What you are doing. You will ask me why there is no segregation of duty. No, when X is given authorization, X should approve. If X is given authorization, Y will approve. Then definitely there will be a mismatch of the communication. Is that? That is the reason exclusively it is related to this. This is totally different from other procedures. Okay, this procedure is completely different. Now, invoices should be marked with appropriate general ledger code. That's why fine, is it? Once it has been identified, you have to mark the invoices with the appropriate ledger code. Means ledger code means we are not, see, when we are talking the capital cost, is it right? When we are talking about the capital cost, what will happen? Is that we are talking in terms of what? Property. Is it right? We are talking in terms of property. We are talking about the plant. Is that we are talking in terms of equipment. For each thing there will be a different code has to be there. Is it? Now, what are the test of controls? For each control, there is a test of control. You are going to be review the policies and procedures in play. You have to examine. Is it? Examine a sample of orders, whether they have done with the authorization, and not only that, whether it means we have the authorization and approval. Is it right? If invoices have been authorized, it has been approved or not. Subsequently, inspect invoices whether we have given what? We have given correct code as such. This is a very significantly different from the other internal procedures. Okay. What the second one is, what? It's a completeness. Is it? When you are talking in terms, see, this is what it's a, when we are talking in terms of the capital cost, is it right? Capital cost is by nature it has to be identified under the category of what? Non-current assets. Is that this is what it says. We are talking in terms of a capital cost asset. Whether we have to ensure that the capital cost has been recorded in the non-current assets or not. That's the control, that is the completeness. Is it right? Capital items should be returned up to the non-current asset register. Is it? See, first I told you previously also. Is it? I told you previously also. See, this is the basic, the first point of entry. Is that first point of entry? It applies only for non-current assets. What happens? They will have a non-current register, and they have the specific item code. The moment we say we are going to talk about the non-current assets, first and foremost, what we have to mention, we have to mention that whether it has been entered in non-current assets. See, before passing the general, see what is the thing, the moment the non-current asset is received at the reception, they will have the register. Is it right? Then in that register they will record. That is the primary source of document. That is the evidence, that is the primary source of evidence. If it is there in the register, subsequently it will be there in the accounts as such. That is the reason capital account should be written up in the non-current register. Is that non-current register should be reconciled. Is that we have to make a it's not a, we have to reconcile with what? We have to reconcile means with the register. Is it right? The register as well as the general ledger. Is it? The register, whatever there in the register, it has to be reflected in the general ledger. Is it? And if any differences are there, should be investigated. What is the test of control? Test of control is nothing but we have to do a reconciliation to ensure that the register as well as the general ledger is going to be matching correspondingly, and subsequently whenever there is a review of whenever there is a reconciliation, the benchmark says that it has to be reviewed by what? We are not only doing reconciliation, but the reconciliation should also be reviewed by a more senior person. Is that's what it's a completeness. Is that completeness is what we are not only focusing on the whether it has been done in the written in the register. No, it has to be written in the register. It has to be written in the it has to be carried forward in the general ledger, and subsequently it has to be reconciled, and once it is reconciliation is there, it has to be reviewed by what? Reviewed by a senior person. Means you are having the 4 different activities involved in the process of completeness. Yeah. Now, what we are doing? We are talking about the classification. Is that when you are talking about the classification, what we are doing? We are classifying whether it is a capital cost or it is a revenue cost. Is that we are classifying either it is a capital cost or revenue cost. The most important thing is what happens. It is at the first stage. Is it right? Whenever there is a capital cost, is it right? Capital cost or revenue, it will be treated at the base stage of where? At the stage of purchases. At that point only you have to say, see now what we are take into consideration. We are talking in terms of plant. Is it right? We are talking in terms of spares. If you take the things, plant is a capital cost. Is it right? Plant is a capital cost. Spares are consumables. Is it right? spares or consumables is going to be called as a revenue cost, revenue expenses. At this point of time only, at the point of purchase only, we have to identify whether we are purchasing on repeatedly, it is a revenue cost. Is it right? If you are purchasing at a one time, it is a capital cost. Is it? Now we will do one question on that, and we will see how it is going to be worked it out. It is right. Now what it says, what is the first, we'll see what is the requirement. Okay, first we'll see what is the requirement in respect of the internal controls of Gracia International Company. Identify 6 deficiencies, and you have to recommend a control, okay, to address these deficiencies. And most importantly, you have to make a test of control. Is it right? Means you have to add it. Means how many columns we will have? We will have 3 columns. Is it right? The first column is we have to identify the deficiency, we have to mention the control, and we have to mention the test of controls. See, in the theoretical questions where you have to improve, in general I am talking about everyone. Okay, I have, if there is anything, I will give the review in the questions also. In general, writing part little bit we have to improve. The next quiz which is going to be posted by me, it will be more of a writing part, because actually in the examination 70 marks is writing, 30 marks is multiple choice. Is that? I am not saying that multiple choice are not important. From next quiz onwards, I will maintain this percentage, 30% for the MCQ, 70% for the writing part. When you are writing the things, make it very sure that how it will work. You have to write. Never see it is as simple as that. The moment you are writing the things, it has to be very specific. You should not write one line answers. Avoid that. Is that one line answers, short answers? You have to explain, means you have to explain in 2 lines. Explain means it reflects that are you understanding or not. Fine. What we do, they gave you the 6 deficiencies, 6 controls, 6 text of controls. It is how many marks? 18 marks. Fine. Now we will focus on this only. Is it right? Gracia International is a manufacturer of electric equipment. First paragraph, don't skip. You don't have any answer in the first paragraph. Take my word. But first paragraph gives you about the introduction about the entity. Okay? Okay? You will not find anything in first paragraph. But you should not say that first paragraph is not important. Gracia International Company is a manufacturer of electrical equipment. It has factories across the country, and its customers base includes retailers as well as individuals. To whom what they are doing, they are having they are talking in terms of electrical equipment. Is it right? They are talking in terms of electrical equipment. Across the country, they are selling, not only they are selling the retailers as well as they are selling to individuals also. Is it? Now, to whom direct sales are made through website. Now you see the thing, the moment you are talking about the website, you have to make sure that whether the IT controls are there or not. Which type of controls will come here? The IT controls will come. Is that? The IT controls will be there. The company year end is 30th September. You are an audit supervisor and are currently reviewing documentation of Gracia internal controls. In preparation what? In preparation of interim audit. Fine. Gracia websites allows individuals to order goods directly and full payment is taken in advance. Fine, good. Currently the website is not integrated. Is it right? This is point number 1. And into the inventory system, and inventory levels are not checked when the orders are placed. This is another one. The moment you are placing a customer placing an order, see, you are talking about the website, is it right? When you are talking about the website, is it right? A customer is placing the order, is it right? You visualize this, is it right? A customer is placing the order. Immediately it has to be reflect the quantity, the remaining quantity. It has to be there. Is that automatically it has to be there that the remaining quantity is 5. So that customer know that the five quantities are available. If you have ever done air ticketing, is it right? Airline ticketing, Oman Air or any airline ticketing, this process you will observe very closely. The moment you are trying to book the ticket, they will say that 5 tickets are remaining, 2 tickets are remaining, 10 tickets are remaining. Is it right? In the same way, whenever we are talking about the inventory, this has to be it has to be. Otherwise, what will happen? The customer will place order for 10 quantities, is it right? 10 units, and they don't have the inventory of 10, is it right? They have inventory of only 5. They are accepting for 10 and they will deliver for 5. Again, they have to do refund, is it right? This is where we are talking in terms of a deficiency. Inventory is valued at the lower cost and net realizable value. Fine. That is one of the good things. That is as per the IAS 2. Is it? As per the IAS 2, they are saying it's fine. Now, goods are dispatched by local couriers. However, they do not always record customer signature as a proof that the customer has received the goods. It is point number 3. Over the past 12 months, there have been customer complaints about the delay between sales order and receipts of goods. Is it? Definitely, they don't have. When they are accepting the order, they don't have a clear picture about how many goods, how much is the inventory level they are having. Is that is the reason there will be a gap between the sales order and the receipts of goods. Is it right? There is a gap between sales order and the receipts of goods. Gracia has investigated this and found that in each case sales order has been entered into a system correctly but not forwarded to the dispatch department. Is it right? They are not forwarding to the dispatch department. This is point number 5. There is no integration between the sales department and the dispatch department. Fine. Gracia retail customers, you can get some more points, right? I am taking just roughly the broader points. Gracia retail customers undergo credit checks prior to being accepted, and credit limits are set according to whom he should not set any credit limit. He is a clerk, is it right? He is a clerk. The credit limit should be set by the senior level person. A clerk should not fix the credit limits. These customers place the order through one of the sales teams who decides on the sales discounts. Sales teams should not fix the discounts. Again, this discount should be done by whom? Discount should be done by the sales manager at a senior level. Is that 7 broader points? Is it right? If we take, is it still there is there? Alhamdulillah. Is it right? Don't worry about it. Raw materials used in the manufacturing process are purchased from the wide range of suppliers. It should not be wide range of suppliers. What is that? we have to get it from the approved list of suppliers. As a result of staff changes in the purchase department, supplier reconciliation is no longer performed. How many we have done? 8. Is it right? This is what? This is 9. Additionally, changes to supply details in the purchase ledger master file is done by whom? Is done by the, see the thing. Is done, the master file is who is doing the thing? It has done by whom? The clerk. Is that actually it has to be done again? It has to be done by a senior manager. This is point number 10. Is that in the past 6 months, Gracia has changed a part of the manufacturing process, and as a result, some new equipment was purchased. Fine. However, there are considerable levels of equipment which are now having the surplus. Whenever you are, see what we have done, whenever you are purchasing, is it right? Whenever you are purchasing, what we have learned that just now, there should be a authorization. Is it? There should be a authorization. This is point number 11. Purchase requisitions of all new equipment has been authorized by whom? The purchase supervisor. This is point number 12. And it has been done to reduce the surplus of old equipment. How many things are there? See in the examination also, it will be 12. You have got 12. Is it right? Of these 12, that's the reason you have 12. Of these 12, you take any 6. If you do like this, see practically how much is there? You divide it. Okay. Now you divide 2 from 1. If you have more than 2, fine. But 2 from this paragraph, you have here more. Is it right? You take any 2. Is it right? Any 2 from here. Is it right? Any 2 from here. Out of these, any 2. Is that 2 plus 2? It is. Now, from here, you will also take what? You have to take any 1. Is it right? You have to take any 1. You mean you distribute the, you are writing the answer covering all the different aspects. Is it right? You don't focus only on first. See, this is slowly you will get by learning. Is it right? This you will get before examination only. Okay. Now almost means here you have to take any. Here you have to take any 2. Is it? Automatically what will happen? It made sense. What is the message we are sending to the examiner? Yes, we are sending a message to the examiner that we have covered all the complete scenario, and based on the complete scenario we are working on that. Fine. See, they have given this much. Okay, I'm not saying that you have to write this much, but I will also say that don't write 1-line sentences. Okay, just don't write. Make it. See, that's what it says. Don't write 1 line. Don't write general. Okay, be very specific. This I have done told almost 4 to 5 weeks back, and it has been given in the suggestions. Is that don't be specific, don't be very general, be very specific. What it says, the first one, is it right? The first one, it says that the website, this is the deficiency. Is that this is what? This is the deficiency. This is the recommendation. This is the deficiency says that the website and inventory control is not integrated. Is that first? Next, what you have to, another sentence, 2 sentences minimum I am emphasizing on this rule. Make it a rule. Don't have one sentence, make it two sentences. Your writing part will make difference. This could result. See what first they are explaining. Is it right? First they are identifying. Okay. This is what they are identifying. What they are identifying. What is that? What is the deficiency? The deficiency is it is not integrated. Fine. Next. What they are doing in the second case, they are explaining what will happen if this could result in orders made via website not being fulfilled and consequent loss of revenue. First, they identify the deficiency. In the second sentence, they have explained that deficiency. What are the recommendations? They say that the website should be fully integrated with inventory system. Fine. Now, what has actually, that's what we are saying. So that orders process only where is the item is in stock. Is there item? When the item is out of stock, the website should be able to inform the country that there is a not available. That is the reason. Whenever there is an order, is it right? Whenever there is an order, there should be a balance stock should be displayed. Is it? Use test data. Is it? Test data is what we are talking in terms of negative values. Is it? To order test of control. Is it? Test data is you are giving what? You are not giving positive values. You are giving negative values to items not currently in the stock to ensure that the customer is informed at an approximate time is given when the item is next expected. Is that what happens? Assume the balance stock is how much? The balance stock is 6. Is that now you are entering? Is that you are ordering? Is it right? You are ordering. You are ordering 10 or you are ordering 7. Automatically, what should happen? It should get rejected. Is right? That is the test data. Is right? We should get rejected. They say that no. When there is a stock of 6, you cannot order 7. When there is a integration between the inventory and the website. Second one, what it says, you are delivering to the customers, but you are not taking any acknowledgement. Is it right? Now, if you take into consideration, if you take the couriers also, is there? You have DHL is there, you have Blue Dot is there, is right? You have American Express. What is that? FedEx is there. Is it right? Whenever they will come, what they will do? They will ask you to do digital signature. Is it right? That is very important. Couriers do not always take the signature from the customer on the delivery. This is the deficiency. Got it? I am very particular about this. This is the deficiency. Now what happens? You have to give a brief explanation about it. This gives rise to the theft. Is that and risk that the customers who had their item delivered claim not to have received it. Is that without whenever you are delivering it, you have to take the acknowledgement. Fine, that's very important. That is the deficiency explanation of what happens. What is the control? Control says that they should take a signature from the customer on delivery of the goods. Fine, that is. Now what is the test of control? You are inspecting a sample of goods dispatch notes. Is that you are inspecting a sample of goods dispatch notes. When you are inspecting a sample of good dispatch note, you are ensuring that whether the customer signature is there or it is not it is taken or it is not taken. Is it? It's not seen. This is the easiest scoring marks. Is it right? Write down. That's very simple. I'm little bit disappointed. Very simple. A little. I'm not talking about all. I'm talking about in some cases. Is it right? You are writing only one line sentences or little bit. Little bit you expand it. Okay. That's very, when they say 5, put the numbers. Is that is the reason. What I'm doing, I am putting numbers here. You put number here at the first place. That's very important. Is that so that you can identify 5 or 6, 7, whatever it may be. The third one, there is a long delay between the placing the order and dispatching the products. See, there is a long delay. You have to mention whenever you are accepting the order, is that whenever the company is accepting the order, they have to make it sure that delivered maximum, is it deliver maximum 3 days. That's all. Now if you see the thing, whenever if you are purchasing from Amazon, you are purchasing from the online websites, is it right? What they will do, you can track the delivery, you can track the delivery, is it right? But just you enter the number, you know where the product is there, how much time it will take to reach us, and subsequently when we can expect that the product is delivered. Is it? That this result will, otherwise what will happen? There will be loss of customers. Is that? As soon as the order has been made, it has to be entered into a sales system and sent to the dispatch department with a copy of the sales order. The system should flag any outstanding sales orders. Is that definitely? Is it right? When we are talking about the things, what the system should say, the system should say that, say, pending orders. Is it? The system should mention what are the pending orders. The moment we are saying pending orders, definitely you will focus on those orders. What it says, what is the test of control for a sample of sales orders. Compare what is the time of order and what is the time of dispatch. Is that? You have to take into consideration what is the time of order and what is the time of dispatch, so that you can track it. Is that? You can know why there is a delay, why there is a delay now, how much time it is taking to deliver an order as such. Is that? That's the point number 3. What is the point number 4? Never expect. See, these are the easy scoring marks. You are talking in terms of 18 marks. 18 marks minimum, you can score 14. Minimum. If any by chance, extremely, minimum don't expect to score less than 14. Fine. Now, again, people will ask me whether they will give marks for complete deficiency, control and test of control. No, not like that. Deficiency is correct, they give marks on deficiency. Is it? Control is correct, they will give marks on control. But make it a point. If deficiency is wrongly presented, automatically control and test of control is wrongly present. What it says, who is determining the discount? The discounts have been set by whom? The discounts have been set by the clerks. Credit limits. Is it right? It's not the procedure. The discounts has to be set by the senior staff member. Get what? Is that? Inappropriate limits could be set with, they don't have authorities, right? Resulting in the goods or not. This is one of the reasons, is it right? This is one of the reasons why sales is getting impacted, is that you are giving credit to XYZ without any scrutiny of the credit history, and subsequently it will have impact. For any new retail customers, limits should be authorized by whom? Limits should be authorized by senior manager. And it has to be reviewed from what? Regular basis. That's very important, right? Every 3 months. You cannot say that this one customer is there and his credit worthiness will be there for lifetime. No. Credit worthiness of the customer will be reviewed on a monthly basis as such. Is it right? Automatically, if there is any plus or minus, it can be removed or it can be upgraded. For a sample of new customers, review credit limits to ensure that they are reasonably well authorized. Who has to review this? Most importantly, it has to be reviewed by whom? It has to be reviewed by the senior staff member. Is it? Point number 5. Point number 5. One question will be there. Just trust me. One question will be there on controls, deficiency in the controls, test of controls and deficiencies, control and test of. What is it? The sales team will decide the discount for the retail customers. No, that is not the case as such. It has to be appropriate by whom? It has to be appropriate by the authorized person, by the senior manager. Very clearly by the senior manager. You should not say director also. See the thing. That's what it says. You will have the sales clerk here. Is it right? You will have the sales clerk. You will have the sales manager. Is it right? You have the sales director. I am saying one is clerk, one is manager, one is director. Is that sales clerk is not authorized to do anything? Is that sales manager is authorized? Is it right? He is authorized. That is the job. What the sales director will do? Sales director will review. Any director, sales director, purchase director, who inventory, whoever is there, is it right? Purchase director is there. He will only review. That's all. Is it right? He is not going to. He just signed on the things. That's all. Is it right? But who will take into consideration? The sales manager. What it says? The sales team is deciding the level of discount. This could what say? See the thing. Now you can understand. Is it right? First thing they will explain. First they will identify what is the deficiency. Fine. In the second case, they will explain. Try to write like this. Is it right? In the next exam, I will give one question on this. Is it? I have already done. I have to post it. That's all. Okay. It has to be done on this. Is it? Now, discount level should be set by the authorized manager. Is it right? Authorized manager. Any changes in the discount should be discussed with the authorized by a senior manager. Is it? Discount should not. What is the test of control? You review. Is it? Test of control is you have to inspect. You have to review. That's all. Is it? Review discounts of some of the customers to ensure that it has been set by the appropriate level. Is it? Appropriate level. Now, what it says, they say that point number 6. Is it right? Is it? They are asking 6. Okay. The company uses a wide range of, no, we should not use the wide range of suppliers. Is it right? As a result, it may be missing out bulk discounts. Is it right? You want, what happens if you are ordering at a higher quantity? You will get the advantage of getting the discounts. Is it right? Not required, not being of the required quality. This is also a risk of raw materials not being of the quality, affecting consumer goodwill. Okay. What it says, it has to be. The rule says that a preferred supplier list. What I have written, if you go back, I have written it what? An approved supplier list. See, these are the points which will be repeated in every scenario. Is it? Should be set up and used when purchasing the raw materials. What happens? You have to review. Is it? You have to review the raw material purchase orders, and we say that yes, whether we have got the approved suppliers or not. Is it right? We have got the approved suppliers or not. That makes sense. Okay, that if deficiency is you should not buy from the range of suppliers. Control is you have to apply, you have to purchase from the preferred supplier list or the approved supplier list. What is the test of control? You are reviewing a sample of invoices of the raw materials to ensure that they are been orders has been placed with the approved suppliers list. Okay. No, I'm not. See, I'm just I'm telling you, I'm not visualizing what they have written. You can write in your own words. Is it right? Now, what it says is that what it says. It says that point number 7 and point number 8. Supplier statement reconciliation is not done. This could result. We have done. I think we have done 12 deficiencies. Is it right? They have mentioned only 8. Fine, no, that's fine. Is it? The supplier statement reconciliation not performed. This is the deficiency. You have to explain the deficiency. This will result in errors in the recording of the purchases and there will be a dispute with the. If there is no reconciliation, what will happen? See the thing. What happens when you are purchasing? Is it right? When you are purchasing, what will happen? You are going to make it point at we are payables. Somebody is receivables. Is it right? Somebody is receivable. Definitely the receivables and the payables amount should be reconciled. Once there is a reconciliation, then we will arrive at a one value as such, so that there should not be any disputes in future. What it says, they are talking about the monthly supplier reconciliation. A supplier reconciliation has to be done, is it? To be undertaken by the, see, when you are doing the, whose job is this? This is very important, is that? Whose job is to do reconciliation? The job is done by whom? By the clerk, is it right? See the thing. Your job is, reconciliation should be done by the clerk, reviewed by the finance director. Is it? With any discrepancy within investigated on a timely basis. What it says, inspect supplier statement. You should know what is the test of control. Definitely whether they have done reconciliation or not. Is it right? They have done reconciliation or not. If you are inspecting the supplier statement reconciliation, that they have been prepared each month and reviewed by whom? Reviewed by the senior manager. Fine. Now, it says that what the rule? Purchase ledger clerks can make changes to suppliers. See the thing. You cannot do anything for a master file. Is it? You cannot do any changes in the master file. As simple as that. Is it right? We have studied, if we are talking in terms of this, IT controls. Is that we have done in IT controls. In IT controls, what we have done, we have make it a point that master file should not be touched. Transaction file, you do anything. You should have access only to the transaction file, nothing to the master file. This could result in the what happened here. What if anything happened to the master file? It means it is a fraud. Only authorized person should have ability to amend details of the purchase ledger master file. Only the people who are authorized. What you are doing? What is the test of control? You are reviewing the register of amendments, changes, and making sure that only authorized person have the access to it. Is that only authorized person is having the access to it? This is the most, see, I'm not taking, see, wherever there is a difficulty, I will say it's a difficulty. Wherever there is a easy, this is the easy. Now you understand this. Deficiency, identify deficiency, explain. Okay. Second, give a control, what we have to do. And test of control is easy. Is that whatever the control is there, you have, very simple. Now blindly, you have to inspect, you have to review, you have to examine. Only thing is, You should know what we are inspecting. What if somebody has prepared it, you have to review it. If somebody has done it, you have to inspect it. Is that? If something is going wrong, you have to examine it. Fine. This is the best way of putting the things. Fine. They have mentioned June. No? I think we have done June. Is it right? We have done June. We have done the June purchases. Is it right? Next. June 2015. We'll do this, okay? What are the 5 components of internal control? Is there 5 components of internal control? Test of control and on non-current assets register. We'll do this now, okay? Next we'll do this and test of controls and this is this we'll do after some time, not like here. Is it? And yes, we will cover the deficiencies and we are addressing the each deficiencies. Fine. Yeah, good question. Is good question paper. Is it right? By that time we are going to do this. We have substantially covered this question paper. Is it right? Engagement also. Yes. No, this we'll do at a later stage. Okay. We have done question number 1. Okay, we have done question number 1. We will do question number 2. Okay, we do question number 2. Is it okay? Today is date what? Today is 5th of October, 5th of November. What I am doing is whatever we almost. By the time we will next week or by end of the after next week maximum we will have a complete coverage of all the questions as such. Each question paper we will take, will work out that. And listen carefully. I am not going to do anything from anywhere. Okay, I will just take the past question papers. I have a good database for me. I am having question papers from 2007. Is it right? 2007 till now. I will just take those question papers and I will just reflect what is there. Is it? Or I have good question data, a good database with respect to the question papers are there. Kaplan is there, alhamdulillah, and BPP is there. Is it right? So I will cover extensively, randomly from everywhere. Okay, randomly. And next thing, whatever the percent, assume I will remove this once it's done. Is it right? Assume the exam is, if I'm give you exam of for 60 marks. Is it right? I will divide this 60 into 1 is always 70 and 30. Is it right? Means 18 marks will be from MCQ and 42 marks will be from the theoretical. If I am giving a question paper of 70, what will happen? 21 marks from the MCQ and 49 marks from the section B. Okay, this is the weightage I will follow in order to work it out for you. Now, what it says, when we are talking about the ISA 315, is it okay? Should I increase the font size? Fine. Now it's okay? Yes. Is that ISA 315 identify and assess material. This is the standard. Material misstatement through understanding the entity and its environment. Describes 5 components. Is it right? 5 components. Write down on the yellow slip. Get one small yellow slips. Okay, that sticker ones. Okay, write down in that. That will give you a advantage to revise it. Is it right? By the time you come before examination, you are not going to cover all these things. You will have your short notes with you. There are 5 are there. The first one is, you are talking in terms of what? Control environment. Is it right? Risk assessment process. Is that? For the first one is control environment. The second one is risk assessment process. The third one is what? Where is that? Yes. Is it? Control activities, monitoring the controls. 1 minute, one is missing here. One minute. No. 1 minute. 1 minute. Just give me one second. I think 1 minute. Yeah, here. The control environment, the entity risk assessment process, the information systems, the control activities, and monitoring the control. Fine? Good. Nothing is missing. Just I just got a doubt. That's all. Is it right? Yeah, fine. The third one is information systems, control activities, and monitoring the controls. Is it right? This is the first one, second one, third one, fourth one, and fifth. See, what is the control environment? Is it right? The control environment says that how the management is concerned about the control. Understand? That's what you can write in your own words. Is right? How the management is responsible. Is right? They say that how it includes the governance and management functions. About what? How they? What is the attitude? What is the awareness? And what are the actions? That's very important. How the management is looking into it, how the management perspective is there, how much awareness is there for the. If the senior level management is concerned about the controls, definitely they will have more controls in place. Is it? More controls in place. That's what it says. Is it? The now with governance and management through internal entities, internal control systems. The control environment says the tone of organization. See, that's what it says. If management is strong, is the people who are charged with governance and the management is strong, automatically what will happen? The people who are working at the lower, middle level or lower level, they will also be on the alert mode. Is it right? That's what it says. It sets the what? It says the tone of the organization. It will influence control consciousness. The control environment has many elements. What are the things? What are the things? You have to, when you have the controls, you have to communicate. You have to enforce. What? You have to have an integrity and you should have ethical values. Yeah, control is you have to communicate. Is that you have to write like this? The control and the control environment includes the governance and the management functions, its attitude, its approach, its awareness, and its actions. Who are charged with the governance? Is that now? It gives a importance for the internal control of the entity. Second one, what we have to do? Continuation. The control environment has many elements. Is it? In terms of the control environment has many elements. It has the integrity, communication, is it? Enforcement of integrity, the ethical values, is it? The one which I have covered in chapter 3, is it? The commitment to the competence, participation with charge with governance. Is it right? Means how we are going to work it out on the control environment in a particular type of in the firm as such. Is that it talks about what? It talks about the organized. Means if the controls are placed in one department, it means the controls will be placed across the different departments with the same level of integrity and the same level of effectiveness. Fine. Now, entity risk assessment process. How we are going to assess, which says that it process includes how it identify what happens, how we are going to identify basically the business risk. What we have done in the last case is right, in the last lecture, in the last just before starting this, it says that we are not acknowledging is that there is no integration between the sales order and dispatch systems. Is that right? There is nothing coordination. Is that right? There is no coordination between sales and dispatch system. Which means that it is not the financial risk. It is not the audit risk. It is the implication of what? It is the business risk. Because the reason is because of this, what happening? The sales will decline. Is that the sales will decline? That is the risk assessment process. Is it right? You have to identify a business risk related to what? Related to the financial statements. What happening if it is a decline in the business risk, automatically what will happen? Sales will decrease, automatically profits will decrease. If things are not working well, is it? I am telling you for the first time, is that? And I will repeat this again and again. There will be a issue of about what? There is a issue of going concern. first time I have used it. Before we come across this point, but I have not used that. I told you very specifically, I will use this at a later stage. Is right? It's a going concern. What will happen? Sales are dipping. Okay? Sales are dipping year on year basis. When the sales will go down year on year basis, the profits will also decrease. When the profits are decreasing, definitely the company existence will be a big question mark. Going concern. Again, I am telling you now, again I will repeat subsequent, because we are going to start this concept at any point of time. Okay? Going concern. Whereas as an auditor, you have to think over it. Is it right? Now, with the financial reporting framework, is that it says that it estimates their significance as the likelihood of their occurrence. Is that now what happens? See the thing. If the risk is less, is it right? If the assessment of risk, if the risk is less, you will do restricted process. Is it right? You will do restricted process. That is there in the first slide. The map is there. Is it right? The diagram is there. If the risk is high, what you are doing? We are doing a substantive process. Fine. That is where the risk assessment process comes into picture. The third one, information systems, are including the related to the business as well as financial reporting. Integration is there, is it right? We are talking about the IT controls, we are talking about the application controls, is it right? We are talking about the factors, is that when we are general controls, how many controls are there? 3 types. One is general controls, one is application controls, one is IT controls. Is it right? Now, when we are talking about the things, it includes the business process relevant to what? Relevant to the financial reporting and communication. What the information systems talks about, is it right? It talks about, which includes the accounting system, consists of what? The procedures and records. Is it right? Means when you are talking about the information system, there should be the process should start from the beginning till the end. Now, I will just revise the one what I told you. Is it right? What happens? Assume the example of what? Assume the example of non-current asset register. Non-current asset register starts with where? It starts with non-current asset register. It ends up where? It ends up with general ledger. General ledger is nothing but we are talking about the trial balance. Fine. Now, this is the most important thing, is that what is the information systems? You should get the, whenever you are doing the reconciliation, you should have a proper evidence, proper source of documents of the information. Is it right? What is the information system? How it will work? It says that it has a process. Is it right? You have to initiate, you have to record, you have to process, and you have to report. I'm not, see, I will mark it with different colors. Is it right? The initiate, you have to record. Is it right? You have to process, and you have to report. Is that? You have to report. Fine. That's very important. Is it? That's very important. Means you have to integrate what is there on the systems. You have to integrate what is there on the financial statements. Controls audit. Now it will, previously we have talked about business risk. Is it right? Now we are talking in terms of what? Audit risk. Okay. Now we are talking about the audit. Is that? Control activities. Whether the controls. What we are doing here? We are talking in terms of what? We are talking in terms of controls. Is it right? We are talking in terms of controls. We are taking into consideration test of controls. Control is it? Control activities are policies. Now you will say these 2 points are related to control. The first point is related to the environment. The second point related to the risk. Is it right? See, close your eyes and remember this. Very simple. This is what it says. First one is related to the environment. Second one is related to the risk. Third one is related to the information systems, including the reporting of financial reporting. The fourth one is consists of control activities, and the fifth one is managing the controls. Is it? It should be on your, see, your five fingers will definitely help you in getting the marks. Is that always the moment there are some specific points, just you roll down your fingers and automatically it will be easy to memorize it. Is that control activities are policies and procedures to ensure that the management directives are carried out. Who is responsible for controls? Management is responsible for controls. Understand why? It is management appoints internal auditor, and internal auditor will take up the activities of controls, internal controls. Is it right? This is where it says, is it the control activities, whether within information technology or manual systems, have various objectives to apply at a various, either at the organization level or at a functional level. Means, what is the functional level? I will write here. Is it right? What is the functional level? Functional level means, any idea? Any idea? Yes or no? Right, I am here to help you. These are all functional levels. Is it right? These are all functional level. These are the functions: payroll, sales, purchases, inventory, cash. Is it right? Non-current assets. Is it? Or see, you have the things. I will write here. Is it? I will write. You have organizational controls. Is it right? Or you have organizational controls. You have functional controls. Organizational controls are general controls. Write down. Is it right? I am writing every other place. Is it right? Organization controls are general controls. Functional controls are application controls. See, I have the access to review any lecture as such. Is it right? I have that that facility is there to me. The moment, this is what it says, the moment I am talking about the revision, I will take the question and I will go to the relevant chapter. Is it right? I will go to the relevant chapter and say that this we have done here, because of this it is relevant to discuss in this question. Is it? That makes more sense for us to understand the factor as such. Got my point? Now, that's what it says. Is that what are the application for organization controls and application? Organization controls are general controls. Is that? I will write here also. Is it right? Organization controls are general controls. Is it? Organization controls are what? General controls. Now you should have more knowledge than me, because you are revising the things repeatedly. Is that? Functional levels are application controls. Is that is the fourth activity. Is that? What are the things? Again I am repeating. You have control environment, risk assessment process, information systems, control activities, and monitoring of controls. I will ask you anytime the moment we are coming back on Monday. Anything I will ask, okay? Next, monitoring of controls is a process. Monitoring of the control is the process to assess the effectiveness of internal control. In other words, it is called as a test of control. Is it right? In other words, it is called as a test of control. First, we will talk about the controls. Then, in the second stage, we talk about the test of control. It involves assessing the effectiveness of control. The moment you say effectiveness of control, test of controls on a timely basis, and definitely we will take remedial action. Management accomplishes the monitoring of control through activities. You are talking about through ongoing activities, separate evaluations, is it right? Test of controls. Now, what are the four methods of documentation? Please tell me fast. Of controls. What are the four methods of documentation? Fast. Yes or no? What are the four methods? Tell me fast. Yes or no? Others. Everybody has to write. Who will write first? That is important. My dear. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
I know there is methods, but I cannot remember.
Tell me. I am here to help you. Tell me. Tell me. Nothing will happen. I am here to help.
Narrative, something. Okay. Flow chart, narrative documentation, something like
Narrative
that.
notes,
Okay.
internal evaluation questionnaires, internal evaluation. What is that? Okay, tell me the last one. I am also there. Internal evaluation. What is that? You have to know more than me. Is it right? You have four. It is there. Fine. The moment you will remember me, tell me. Fine. You remember it. Tell me. Internal evaluation. IE assessment questionnaire, internal assessment evaluation questionnaire. Something is there, is it right? Internal control questionnaire, internal internal control questionnaire, no. Internal evaluation control questionnaire, no, not this one. Tell me, whoever tells, okay, you just revise and tell me, nothing will happen. Is it right? You will say internal control evaluation. Good, Fatma, exactly. And the next one, internal control evaluation questionnaire and internal control questionnaire, something like that. See, this is going to be, see, you have the advantages and you have the disadvantages. Is it right? Two advantages and two advantages. They will not ask all the things. They will ask any two. Any two with two advantages. See the things. 1, 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. They will give what? Minimum they will give 6 marks. Or minimum they will give how many marks? 3 marks. Fine? Little bit careful. Okay? Little bit careful. You have to tell. Before the moment I will say, now you have to really very specific. Okay? Now I will see, what I will do, I will just type questions in your WhatsApp group. Okay? Just type the questions in the WhatsApp. Time factor will be there. Okay? From morning 8 to evening 8, that's all. Not beyond that. Maximum 10 o'clock. Is it right? If I am free. Okay? I will type list out. Is it right? I will say list out. And I will see who is the, I'm not saying that you have to be always there, but the moment you see the things, whoever write the answer, that makes a good part of revision. Okay? Inshallah. Is that? I will make you be awake all the time. That's very simple. Okay? There's no plus, there is no minus. Is it? We are talking about 5. Understand the point? 5 internal control environment. What? It is a internal control components. 5 components: entity, control environment, risk assessment process, information systems, control activities, monitoring the control. Fine? Good. Now, again, we are continuing this. Is it right? We are continuing the same thing. What it says, the second question. Again, I will write here. Is it right? Again, I will write. It is what? 511. Is it right? See, very simple. Follow this procedure step by step. This is the standard way of assessing. Is it a standard way of assessing? And listen carefully. Question paper will be difficult than this. I don't want to make you smile and say that. We will wind up. 1 minute. We will wind up. Okay? Sorry. Thank you. Sorry. Is that? We will wind up. Okay? Now again, why you are coming back? Is that? Fine. I will remove this. Is it right? I will remove this. When we are coming back next time, just remind me. Okay? Where we have to start? We have to start with June 2015, inshallah.